In this video, I'm going to give you tips on how you can get rid of your menopause belly fat. I'm Jacinta Furman, a clinical nutritionist in Australia, and I'm 3 years into menopause. I used to pride myself on my very slim waist, but after 3 years of menopause, that's become a bit of an issue. So what can you do to get rid of your menopause belly fat? As you enter perimenopause, it is one of the first symptoms that you tend to notice, and when you enter perimenopause, your estrogen drops. There's nothing you can do about that. But the drop in estrogen affects your other hormones, specifically cortisol and insulin, that both are the key hormones that lead to that menopause belly fat. I'm going to take you through what you can do to reduce your cortisol and what you can do to reduce your insulin, which we say is improve your insulin sensitivity. Cortisol is a necessary hormone that you need. It's what gets you up in the morning, it supports metabolism, it helps your memory. It's got many functions, but the problem is when it's elevated for a long time. We need our cortisol, and we've needed it for 2,000 years. If we're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, you want your cortisol to rise, you need an increase in blood sugar, you need to be storing all of your blood sugars and extra fat so that in times of trouble, you can actually run. But you're not being chased by a tiger. The only thing chasing you is an inbox full of emails. You're not using any of that energy. So that's when cortisol becomes a problem, because it still wants to store the fat. There are 3 things you can do to reduce your cortisol. You're effectively tricking your body into being more relaxed than you may even be feeling. Mindfulness, relaxation, and meditation are great ways to bring your cortisol down. I'm going to give you 8 tips here now that you can incorporate into your day that will just help you drop your cortisol, feel calmer, and reduce that menopause belly fat. Number 1 is box breathing. This is my favourite. Box breathing, you just have to breathe in slowly for a count of 4, hold the breath for 4, breathe out for a count of 4, and hold the breath out for a count of 4, and repeat. Do it at a pace that's comfortable for you, but the idea is to keep doing it for about 3 minutes, and at the end of the 3 minutes, you'll notice that you just feel a bit calmer, and that's because you've tricked your cortisol and your body into relaxing and getting out of that fight or flight stress mode. Number 2, take a walk outside. Walking in green space in particular is really beneficial. It will help you feel heaps calmer, just walking forward and scanning the environment. It also reduces your insulin, which will also help reduce your belly fat. Laughing is also amazingly impactful on your health, in a good way. So get rid of the Scandi Noir off Netflix and flick on the comedy channel. Or just hang out with your funny friends a bit more. Number 4, listen to music. Find your music that just makes you feel chilled and just melts your stress away. Next, exercising. Low impact exercise is really good to reduce your cortisol. The best types of exercise are Tai Chi and yoga. Yoga in particular and Tai Chi also incorporate breathing, so you'll get that double bonus of reducing your cortisol and also strengthening your muscles at the same time. If you have a bath, use it. Relaxing in a bath can be a fantastic way to just chill out. I'm really lucky. Recently, our local aquatic centre has just been renovated and it's got an awesome sauna and a therapeutic pool. I grab a mate, we go down there twice a week and come home, and I swear at night that's the best sleep I ever have because I've completely dropped that cortisol and chilled out. And finally, practicing gratitude can be something that really helps people relax at night. Just grab a notebook, write down what you're grateful for the day. It's really soothing on the nervous system and will help you sleep well at night. You won't be able to do all of the things that I've mentioned to reduce your cortisol, so just find the one that best fits into your lifestyle that you find most effective. So some days it might be going for a walk, other days it might be box breathing. Just choose one that's best for you. The menopause caper is a hormone game. Estrogen drops and that affects insulin. And insulin is the one that really is driving this menopause belly fat. Firstly, what is insulin? When your blood sugars rise after you eat, that sends a signal to say secrete insulin, And so the higher your blood sugars, the more insulin that gets secreted. Instead of going into the cell, that excess blood sugar is going into fat stores. There are 3 things that you can do to improve your insulin sensitivity. So one of them is with diet, one is with exercise, and one is with fasting. So firstly, diet. What do you need to do? Firstly, cut out processed foods. And by processed foods, I mean sugar, pastries, cakes, white flour, white bread, white pasta. All of these things cause your insulin to spike massively. Your body just treats it as sugar. So just get rid of them while you're getting your insulin back under control. Let's focus on what you need to include in your diet. The first is protein. Your protein needs go up as a woman after you turn 40. You need to include good quality protein at every meal. You don't have to have a slab of steak for breakfast. So what are examples of good quality protein? Eggs, lean meat, lean chicken, fish, tofu, tempeh, and there are also vegetarian sources, so legumes and beans are also great sources of protein. Make sure you're having 30 grams in every meal. Remember, protein keeps those blood sugars stable, and the other advantage is it also reduces your hunger, so you feel full when you eat protein. Include fibre in your meals as well to maintain that blood sugar and reduce that insulin spike. Think fruits and vegetables are all great sources of fibre, and also you can get fibre from natural sources such as brown rice, quinoa and whole grains. Include protein and fibre in your meals to reduce that insulin spike, therefore your blood sugars will stay stable and you'll be storing less fat. Exercise is a great way to improve your insulin sensitivity. After you've eaten, your blood sugars go up, but if you go for a walk, then you're using the blood sugars out of your muscles. So an awesome way to just keep your insulin down low throughout the day. And the other advantage is reducing those blood sugar spikes mean that you'll also reduce your cravings. And finally, intermittent fasting is a great way to improve your insulin sensitivity, which will help reduce that belly fat. Intermittent fasting has become really popular recently. I think more recently the 5-2 was most popular, but now I think the 16-8. I've started doing the 16-8. A few years ago I did the 5-2. It was an absolute disaster. On the days that I could only have 500 calories, I was just thinking about food non-stop all day. And then as soon as I wasn't fasting, I was going and getting cherry ripes for afternoon tea. I put on weight. It really didn't suit me. The 16-8 does work for me because I just incorporate it into every single day. I can move my eating window. It's got a bit of flexibility, so you don't have to do the 16 hours every night. It's better if you mix it up. So sometimes I'm only having a 15-hour window. Some days I don't fast at all, but pretty much most days I do about 16-hour fasts. And that's been fantastic for me. It's reduced my hunger. I can fast for longer. It's an all-round winner after you've hit menopause. An important thing to note about fasting though is I'm in menopause, so I don't have a cycle anymore. So it's fine for me to fast at any time. If you're still in perimenopause, because you're still having a cycle, you can't fast through your whole cycle. Because you have different hormonal needs, you're still cycling with estrogen and progesterone. Progesterone does not go well with this sort of fasting. You need to look after yourself leading up to your period, so you shouldn't be fasting at that end point, and you shouldn't be fasting around ovulation either. So if you're in menopause, you can fast at any stage. To recap what we've just discussed, the way to reduce your menopause belly fat, you can't do anything about reducing estrogen, but you can reduce your cortisol and you can improve your insulin sensitivity. How do we do that? Cortisol, we use relaxation techniques, meditation techniques and mindfulness. And to reduce your insulin, you need to look at your food. So include protein and fibre in your meals, and then increase your exercise, particularly going for a walk after a meal is a great example. And finally, introducing intermittent fasting into your lifestyle, depending on where you're at, can all help reduce that menopause belly fat that starts coming on as you're going through perimenopause and menopause. Subscribe to my channel where you'll be getting lots more practical tips on how you can improve your menopause symptoms. And start now. Make one change this week and another change next week. Small steps lead to big improvements.